I think the most important thing is we must teach people the basic principles of the Buddhist teachings, and also the traditions that we have. That if you teach people, then people will know more about, and when they see the greatness of Dharma, I think there will be more interest, and if there is more interest, then I think more people will learn, and then it will continue. But I have seen that in the West it's quite encouraging, because in England I saw there are 3 generations English persons who are Buddhist. So I thought it's very encouraging. I think the mantrayana mainly emphasizes on the practice. So when people have interest, people should study and create interest, and then to make it maintain its specialties through the meditations. So people should have the opportunity to do the retreat and meditations. Of course, if possible, long retreat. If not, at least to have some kind of experience, like a short retreat. I think this will ensure to maintain. It's all, not only the modern technology, but everything, every facilities. Depends on one's own motivation and one's own intention. If you use them in the right way, everything can be good. Even the poisons can turn into the medicines. But if you use them wrongly, then even the medicines can become poison. So it all depends on one's own motivation and one's own techniques, and in the way you know the techniques. If you know the techniques, the poison can also be a medicine. So therefore, if you do it in a correct way, even the bad things, even the obstacles also can turn into the attainments. Yeah, I think there are many things that are associated with the Tibetan culture, the Tibetan's own way of doing things, like ceremonies, big ceremonies, and things like that can be changed. I think it's not necessary. But the things that cannot be changed are the principles, the Buddhist principles, the samayas and the vows. Vows, of course, also can be modified, because the Buddha himself said that Vinaya should be according to the time and place. For example, in India it's a hot place, so the monks are not allowed to wear the boots. But in Tibet it's a very cold country, and so where there's a lot of ice, then there I think the monks are allowed to wear boots. I mean, small things like that can be adopted. But the basic principles, like, for example, the law of karma and rebirth, interdependent origination view, things like that, they cannot be changed. according to the teachings, there are actually two kinds of qualities. What we call the intelligent, who follows the Dharma, who do not follow the faith but follows the Dharma, and then more kind of inferior type who follows the faith. So I think here in the West, being a non-Buddhist country, I think it is more suitable to be the intelligent type with following with the Dharma, which means that you have to convince, not by just faith, but with the reasons, with the logical reasons. The Buddha himself also actually said that his teaching should be examined just like as we examine the gold, and we make sure that it is a genuine gold, and then only then we buy. Similarly, that his teaching should be examined. So the people should, the logical reasons, the logic is very much used in the Buddhist teachings, not just blind faith, but the logic. With the logical reasons, then one can convince people to have the right way. So studying is very important in the beginning. And His Holiness Dalai Lama says that in Buddhism there are three kinds: the Buddhist teaching, Buddhist philosophy, and Buddhist science. The Buddhist science, and he says, anybody can study. Non-Buddhist can also study. It means just describing the basic the samsaric things through the logically. So in this kind of things, anybody can study. No need to be established like guru and disciples. So in that kind of ways that one should have the chance and study, and then when you gain the knowledge, then you can have the Buddhist philosophy. Buddhist philosophy also, I believe, everybody can study, and there's no need really to become a Buddhist. But then you take the Buddhist teachings like taking refuge, and then you have to accept like disciples and preceptors. So, and to establish such links, then it becomes more serious. Actually, in the teachings, it mentions very clearly the qualifications of the disciples. From the Vinaya also has the teachers, masters, the qualifications of the masters. Then Mahayana teachers, then Vajrayana teachers. That also has inferior, mediocre, and superior. So that is clearly mentioned. But overall, I think the guru should be three qualifications. Minimum is three qualifications. Number one has to be a good discipline, because discipline is a base for all the qualities. So if the Lama is not a good discipline, good moral conduct, then it's not right. So therefore, the good moral conduct is very, very important. And then secondly, one must have the wisdom about the knowledge, and the knowledge about the teachings and all the teachings and so on. And thirdly, he must have a compassion to teach the students. So the minimum qualification is that with these three qualities. I think the whole general Buddhist structure in every yana, every tradition, is that sound moral conduct is very important. The base for all the quality is good moral conduct, good discipline. Of course, there are many different levels of precepts. So whichever, you don't need to take the highest precept straight away. So according to one's own ability, whatever precepts that one can keep, that you can take, and then slowly build up. And the good precept, good moral conduct is very, very important. Then studying, after that, studying and contemplation and the meditation. So this sequence is, I think, the same with all the different Buddhist traditions. This again, you see, first of all, I think the people should know, because many of the times in Tibet also, people just take it. Because Tibet is different, because it's a Buddhist country. So everybody is Buddhist more or less in the right from the beginning, in at least in the name. So therefore they just take it. But I think that in the modern times, it is not just enough just to go to the initiations or receive vows and straight away. But first I think we must study. People should know what are the vows, what are the rules, what is the initiation means, what happens when you take initiations, what are the commitments. I think the knowledge is very, very important. And then when you know what you are doing, and then you can start. And of course, the highest, the bhikshu and bhikshunis, and actually there are three vows: Pratimoksha vow, Bodhisattva vow, and Vajrayana vow. So the base is Pratimoksha vow. The Pratimoksha vow has the Upasaka, which is lay vow, and Samanara, which is like novice, and then the bhikshus and bhikshunis. That is the highest. Based on this, so the bhikshu or bhikshuni who holds the three vows and who practice the Vajrayana path is the most supreme best. Meditation, I think you should start with the basic common foundations. Like the precious human life, impermanent, the law of karma, suffering of samsara, and shamatha, and so on. And then based on this, then the loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And so in this way that one should train them with what we call the mind training teachings, such as like the parting from the four attachment and triple vision, and things are very important. The view there, of course, there are many different views, and it is what I'm saying is, within the Buddhists, there are many philosophical schools. And to know fully, I think it is important to know all of them very briefly. And of course, the supreme view is the Madhyamika view, explained by the Nagarjuna. That is there's no higher view than that, even in Mantrayana also. Mantrayana has the ways to realize this view is different. The method is different, but the actual view, ultimate truth cannot be many, it have to be one. So that is one, both in Sutrayana and as well as Mantrayana is same. But the way you to realize this view, Mantrayana has more advanced method to realize it very quickly and more effectively and more directly. I think generally the Buddha emphasized that all all compound things are impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering. So with these views are very helpful to overcome the fears. Because when everything is impermanent, everything is suffering, it is natural. So we have to face it, we have to have enough strength to face such sufferings and impermanent everything. People who do not have any idea of these things change and they could not just bear. But when the Buddha said that all things are impermanent, everything is suffering, then it is obvious. So it's not nothing new. And besides this, that if the things that are coming, fears that are coming, if this is something that we can change, if we can do something, then there's no need to worry about it. If this is something beyond our control and that cannot do anything, then there's no point in worrying. Worrying will not help solve the problems. So with this kind of mind training or the mind advice is very helpful when you are in the crisis, when you face the crisis. The Buddha, actually it says that, you see, we ordinary beings, we always care about ourselves. And then what we care all the time are ourselves, and all we achieve is sufferings. Suffering, nothing but sufferings. We don't want sufferings, but because we don't know how to deal, so although we are always caring for ourselves, but what we achieve is sufferings. And the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they totally giving up their own caring things and totally devoting for the sake of others, and then they accomplish both one's own purpose. And so therefore, it is very important to care about the others.
Thank you.